Helhest has already started dominating the leaderboards, and she's only been around for a very short period of time. So what exactly has made her such a potent monster in the hands of these professional players? Well, that's exactly what I'm here to tell you about today. So let's go in and build our best Helhest. First off, let's start with your bread and butter, our relic abilities, because without understanding these, we can't take full advantage of everything else. Starting with our passive ability, we have data conversion. This makes it so when boosting/healing drones buff and or heal allies, they also grant those allies the assisted calculation effect for 20 seconds. And it's good to remember that Helhest will always have the assisted calculation effect active. Assisted calculation makes it so when you deal damage to an enemy, they are inflicted with data analysis for 12 seconds, which causes them to drop data fragments on the ground that can be automatically picked up by your drones or manually by yourself. Keep in mind, the more fire team members you have, the less potent these data fragments will be. Obtaining these will increase the bar at the bottom of your screen, and once you fill up one of these 2 bars, you can consume one of the bars to provide all allies within 70 meters 1 heavy brick of ammo. And already, we are off to a crazy start. Free heavy ammo to your whole team on a decently consistent basis, even at a tier 0 character, is kinda nuts. Let's move on to the main part of her kit, her drones. Helhest comes with 2 flavors of drones, a healing and a buffing drone. You can deploy either of these drones instantly 5 meters in front of you, or if you hold the button, you can choose where to summon them up to 40 meters away, and they'll last for a total of 80 seconds. Casting the same drone a second time will level it up from a level 1 drone to a level 2 drone, increasing its potency. The boosting drone will apply a damage bonus to all teammates within a 10-meter radius for 20 seconds, while the healing drone will start healing all allies within 10 meters. On top of all of that, the drones will also fire at nearby enemies once every 4 seconds and will prioritize the last enemy that Helhest shot. Keep in mind that those drones are stationary, so be mindful when placing them. And if you do move too far away from them, they will be recalled back to you, and you'll restore some of your energy depending on their level and remaining duration. Her second ability is Salvo, which launches a volley of missiles at the marked position, giving you 3 stacks of the Salvo effect. This allows her to summon more volleys of missiles for each stack currently held whenever you shoot an enemy. On top of this, when you fire your volley, your prosthetic and all mini drones on the battlefield will also fire 1 arc missile at the reticule position, exploding on hit and dealing arc damage to all enemies within a 6-meter radius. If you don't have your drones active when you fire your salvo, the prosthetic will gain a damage bonus for its missiles. Missiles fired from the prosthetic will confine enemies, rendering them immobile. Missiles from the boosting drone will apply a damage over time effect, and the healing drone's missiles will fire a missile at an ally with the lowest health, healing them over time for 3 seconds. Her last ability to talk about is her super. This ability will summon a super drone that follows you around. While you have the super drone, both healing and boosting drones will be buffed by 300%, and also cause them to instantly fire and reduce their time to fire by 50%. On top of this, the super drone will also fire at the nearest target or last enemy shot by Helhest, launching 20 arc rockets every 2 seconds, dealing a massive amount of arc damage. And if that wasn't enough, on top of all of that, it will also link to the nearest ally and start healing them over time as well. Her most important feature here is her weapon mastery, and it's what makes her a burst damage monster. At level 1, when she casts Salvo, she'll be granted the overclocked shot effect for 6 seconds. This makes it so the charge time of your linear fusion rifles is reduced by 50% and deals 15% extra arc damage. This also applies to bows, shortening their draw time, but honestly, this is really just for your linears. This will max out at level 5, making it so you do a total of 55% bonus arc damage. At level 4, it also makes it so as long as you have salvo stacks, you'll have the overclock shot effect active till you've used them all up, and it also reloads 1 round from reserves when firing your linear fusion rifle. The last piece of info to mention is the relic traits. Our first trait makes it so deploying or upgrading a drone will boost its potency by 200% for 4 seconds and can stack with multiple summons. Just keep in mind this won't be in effect if your super drone is active. Trait 2 will give yourself and all allies a 40% movement buff while in range of a drone, and it will last for 8 seconds after leaving the drone's range. This is a very handy trait that Expanse and Calamity users are going to want, because basically any activity that requires a timer or to be speedrunned is, kind of important to be moving fast in. Her last trait will make it so any healing or boost drones you have on the field will instantly become max level as soon as you deploy your super drone. This makes it pretty easy to get both drones to max at the start of an encounter by dropping one of each and then using your super right afterwards. Did you know that only 18% of the people watching right now are subscribed to the channel? Well, if you want to help fix that and enjoy my videos, feel free to drop a sub for more character builds, raid guides, and fun content almost every day. Let's quickly go over her talent tree. I'd like to mention that Helhest is a very strong character, but her talent tree honestly makes her just broken. At tier 1, Helhest gains another charge of her drone deployment, allowing her to carry 3 drone summons. And if you summon a drone while holding 3 stacks, that drone will spawn at max level right off the bat. Tier 2 gives her an automatic generation of data fragments of 1 fragment every 15 seconds as long as an enemy is marked by your data analysis. Tier 3 increases the damage of overclock shots by another 20%, making her do an additional 75% extra arc damage when her mastery level is at level 5. Tier 4 reduces the amount of data fragments needed to airdrop heavy ammo from 24 to 16, almost halving the time required to get more heavy to spawn. Tier 5 makes it so salvo will give you 6 stacks instead of 3, making your weapon mastery, fire rate reduction, and bonus damage last even longer. And Tier 6 allows you to upgrade your drones to level 3, increasing their buff radius by 50% and their volley damage by 50% as well. Next, let's talk about a small portion of her kit that I don't see many people talk about, her light-linked companions. Many will come in here and click quick match and just use what is recommended, which will give you JoeNova and Tan2, both of which I think are not great choices for her. The first and most important choice is all the way down at the bottom here. Caber, for some weird reason, is listed as not easy to use, which is just straight up a lie. Caber makes it so all arc damage is increased by 5% at max, and seeing as both weapons will be using as Helhest are arc and all of her abilities are arc, this is just a straight up 5% damage buff to everything you do as her. For your second choice, it's really a toss-up. I personally like to use Atal for her increased to buff duration by 20% at max. This will make your damage buff from your boost drone last 23 seconds instead of 20 seconds, and your movement speed buff will last 10 seconds instead of 8 seconds, which may not seem like a lot, but in high-end activities where every second matters, getting where you need to be faster is pretty important. The other option here would be Ning Fei, giving you another arc damage bonus at max of 11% for 6 seconds after getting a kill. Alright, let's talk weapons. For your bow, you will want to run the mythic Yoshimoto. And I know Trinity Ghoul is the new fun toy, but honestly, it's not good enough to skip on the exotic linear fusion. Don't get me wrong, Trinity Ghoul is fun, but in endgame content, you'll want the exotic linear. For your perks, I personally believe Archer's Tempo is the best perk in slot 1. Lowering draw time for bows has always been the best choice for bows in general, and that stays true here. Though if you're power hungry, you can run Annihilation to get the perk upgrade and increase your power with a matching exotic mod, but I still think Archer's Tempo is the better choice over both Annihilation and Emboldening Support. For perk 2, you have 2 good choices here. The recommended perk Ensured Yields is a great choice that makes it so your next magazine after getting a kill grants you 75% damage bonus, and your next shot after a reload, if you didn't get a kill, gets you up to 45% damage based on the number of hits landed. After some testing, this 45% damage on bows single shot will get you around 35.8% damage buff. With that said, I personally think Black Body is the better perk choice here. Black Body will net you a 9% damage buff for each kill, stacking up to 5 times, and will last till you die. The perk upgrade also increases this 9% buff to an 11.4% buff, which means that it will only take you 3 kills and you'll already be matching Ensured Yield's non-kill buff with 34.2% damage. And at max stacks, you'll have a permanent 57% damage buff till you die. This doesn't reach quite the heights of the 75% damage buff Ensured Yields provides after a kill, but it will give you a much better damage output when trying to deal with strong enemies like Orange Bar Elites. Alright, exotic mods. For your scope, you're going to want to try and roll long range damage in your first slot and range +3 in the second slot, and match your perk upgrade with Paranoia. Your magazine will want reduced reload time in slot 1 and reduced draw time in slot 2. I haven't been able to test what is better, the percentage draw time or the static 6 draw time, so take either if you can get them. They're both preferred over handling and recoil. And then for your perk upgrade, try to grab Annihilation, seeing as it's the only perk on the weapon that can be upgraded at the moment. But again, keep in mind, I still advise running Archer's Tempo. Lastly, your ammo mod should have base/elite combatant damage in your first slot and minimum damage in the second slot to help you deal with those pesky red and orange bar enemies. And then match whatever perk upgrade you ended up choosing between Assured Yields and Black Body. Alright, time to cover the most difficult topic every time because everyone's got a different opinion on these, but it's artifact time. For slot 1, I recommend running either one of these 2 combos. I find they are both very potent on Helhest. Option 1 is Inspiring Axion matched with Unrelenting Evolution. This will make it so you take 32% less damage from enemies 15 meters away when you have both your healing and damage drones out. And then on top of that, also gain 15 stacks of armor every time your first artifact takes effect, which makes you take negative 1.79% damage. This can be stacked 20 times, netting you another negative 35.8% damage from enemies on top of the first artifact. Your other choice is a pretty standard one that many may already have on another character. That is Ring of Abundance, increasing the potency of your healing drone, and Ring of Conversion to convert your overflow healing into an overshield. A pretty standard combo, but always a good choice. The attributes for these 2 artifacts you'll be wanting to try to get will be ranged damage resistance, healing bonus, health boost, and elemental resistance. I would say defense boost and shield boost are also great backup choices. Now for the most important part of our build, damage artifacts. For slot 3, we have a few good choices, but I believe after some testing that United Axion is your best choice, buffing damage bonuses by 140%. Keep in mind the way this works is that the damage bonus from the drone is the only thing getting this buff. So say you do 1000 damage and the drone makes you do an additional 100 damage, only that 100 damage will be buffed by the 140%, which is still an insane number. The other choices I would recommend are Calming Token if you play stationary a lot for that extra 46 precision damage, or Inverted Fury for the 30% weapon damage bonus while you have a shield active. Your fourth slot has 3 options. Option 1 is more so if you're just looking to max out your boss damage. For that, you can run Confined Axion, which will make you deal an additional 36% damage to enemies 20 meters away while confined, or 57.99% damage from more than 30 meters away, again, while confined. And make sure this only works while using a long-ranged weapon. So, drop your salvo on a boss and start blasting away for insane damage bonuses. Option 2 is if you're looking for more of an overall bonus that can be active more often, which is Bellicose Planetesimal. This will only net you a 30% weapon damage bonus for 6 seconds, but this can be activated every time you use an ability. And option 3 is Talisman of Inspiration. This is the weakest buff of them all, only giving 18%, but it buffs all damage and can permanently be active as long as you have a healing drone out. Finally, the attributes for your damage artifacts should be Weapon Enhancement, Arc Boost, ability strength, and damage bonus boost. And there you have it. That covers my full character breakdown for Helhest. She is honestly a beast, putting out massive burst damage and doing her job as a support character very well, giving insane damage bonuses to teammates and helping keep them alive and well fed with heavy ammo. Hopefully this helped you with some build ideas for Helhest, and if it did, feel free to drop a sub, and while you're down there, hit the like button and leave a comment on what your build thoughts are for Helhest. Thanks again for watching, and have yourself a supernova day.